Hey guys, Tait here, and I'm today talking about imposter syndrome. It's a very interesting topic. I've done lots of research around this space, and in the coaching work that I've done with myself, with clients, what's come through is the imposter syndrome. There's pretty much two concepts going on at the same time. One is the evidence as to how confident and competent you are in life to have perhaps gone into a role, a job, and you don't feel that you believe there, that you should be there, but you actually have the runs on the board, right? So the evidence part does not seem to correlate with the feelings part, where you are feeling inadequate, you're feeling not enough, you're feeling like you don't belong there, right? And there's a lot of different psychological ideas with this one. When you do the research, go into the psychology, go into the mindset side of it. And I love researching that to see, well, what actually fits with my lived experience, what fits with what I see in other people. Fantastic YouTube channel called Struthless, and he does a lot of mindset type videos. And I really liked one of his bits of research that he did, where he talked about the two ideas of being evidence on one side and your feelings on the other. And I thought, well, that's a really good one to explore from a coaching perspective, from an NLP perspective, from a mindset coaching perspective. And he gave some really cool suggestions that he uses in that channel. And what I thought I'd do is I'd look at it from the perspective of mindset and NLP and self-concept model. And within NLP, there's the meta model where we can question, is it true? Is it absolutely true that you are not worthy to be in that job? Let's first do an audit. I mean, the one extreme might be, don't put me in the cockpit of an airline, one of those big double-decker planes. I can't fly it, right? That's okay for my feelings and my confidence and my competence. I don't have the runs on the board to be flying a plane. That's fine, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about not even having the confidence to have a go at the beginning level. Or you're going from, say, employee to manager and you think, oh, I don't really belong in this role. And so what I see going on when you're going up some level, you're going into a new position. So the first thing that's going on is you are changing identity. You have now got a new set of responsibilities. You've got a new set of things you have to worry about, and you've perhaps not done that role before. But you do have the runs on the board, perhaps, if you were to put it all together, to step into that role. So the self-doubt part, that could come from way back. That could come from way back when you were a kid. That could come from things that were cemented in your mind a long time ago about decisions inside yourself. Of course, we've got our beliefs, we've got the things that are important to us, our values, and we've got our identity. Those are sort of the top three that Robert Dilts puts into his model of neurological levels. And they're really three really good pieces to explore. There's something going on in your brain, and you've made a decision that you're not good enough for the role. So it's actually the imposter side of things. It's okay if you're going into a new role to be nervous. That's a good thing. It means you're going to be paying attention. It's okay to go into a new role, feeling a bit cautious, like wanting to understand it. Because it's all new. The real problem I have is where you go into a role, you've been in it a while, and you still don't think you belong. Could it be that you're afraid, by fulfilling that role very well, that you might miss out on a value? So values inside identity is very important. What if you think that you're going to lose something? What if you think that you're going to, if I do this job well, I'm going to have to be an a-hole? What if I do this job well, I'm going to have to be an absolute bastard, right? And I like myself as a, amiable person, a friendly person. That's a good one. So maybe unconsciously, you think you have to behave a certain way to get the job done well, because all those other people above you were distant, were aloof, right? So look around you, looked at the example of those who have gone before you, and you think, well, do I have to be like that to be successful at this job? Sure, I love the pay rise. Sure, I like the be given the responsibility. I like the kudos, but I don't like who I'm going to have to become. that could be a powerful piece. The values. I'm going to have to throw away some of my really important values of being a people person to be the boss. There's a good one. So you're going to self-sabotage, or you're going to fight against it, or you're going to have these feelings that I don't belong here because I can never be that person. So this is where you've got to look at that and say, well, what's going on in the background there? And that's a series of beliefs. If I be that, I'm going to be perhaps alone. If I be that, I'm not going to have friendships in the workplace. I'm going to be isolated. It's not going to be worth it. There's all these beliefs going on now, right? So you can see how the imposter may actually be something else below the surface. Now, on top of that, there might be some identity things where you've kind of kept it under the carpet. No one's knew about it, that I am not enough, right? You feel like you're not enough in some certain areas in your life. Other areas you're okay. And so you've brought that forward from somewhere. It's deep inside of you, and now you're bringing it. It's been exposed, if you like. It's like a curtain has been opened up, and oops, I've been exposed, and everyone can see me now. That side of the imposter is that, ooh, I've got these feelings of inadequacy, even though I've got runs on the board, even though I have all the points scored, even though I've done all the actions, but I still don't feel enough. There's still going to be someone coming after me. The biggest celebrities in the world who are top of their field have this imposter syndrome. They're waiting for, the success police to come and take them away for being a fraud, even though they are the top of their game. It could be movie stars, it could be sports stars, it could be anyone. And so there's so many of them out there. And so when you look at that, you think, okay, what's actually going on? It could be a program from the past. Now, sometimes that might drive someone forward to keep going for excellence, to overcome their imposter, to overcome this. So it's a tricky one if that is their driver. It's not healthy, but it might be their driver. So within coaching, I think about, the self-concept model. This is where it can be very useful, where you can say, okay, well, where am I feeling like I'm the imposter? But more to the point, what's the opposite? One of the good questions in coaching is, what do you want instead? Like, what is the opposite to the problem? And the opposite to the problem could be something along the lines of, instead of I'm not worthy of this position, I am truly worthy of this position, right? So what's happening is, if I think about it from an NLP and a submodalities and a mindset point of view, you've built up all these structures on what it means to be successful, or what it means, should I say, to be the imposter. But you haven't on the other side balanced it out as to what it means to be worthy, what it means to, I deserve this position, or what it means to, I'm the right person for the job. I know I am. Or I'm the right person to take that next step up because I've done all of the things required within a system. What does that look like? Build that inside yourself. What does it look like when you do deserve something? What does it look like when you are worthy? What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? What are you going to feel? What does it look like in your mind when someone does deserve it? How do they carry themselves? What are they thinking? What does that look like? How do you put that together in that context? So that is the good question for today. What does it look like? And this is where we have to go through some worked examples. So with myself, I've had a situation over the last couple of years where I've helped my partner in establishing a restaurant. Now, in my self-concept, I realized, I don't really see myself as a business person. I don't see myself as a restaurateur. I don't see myself as owning a restaurant with my partner. But after a couple of years of doing it with my partner, I am. I definitely am. Even though my mindset is actually one of a mindset coach, one of a mindset coach who helps with identity, one of a mindset coach who helps people overcome their limiting beliefs, get to know their values, reorganize their hierarchy of values, all those great things we do. that then step them into actions that align with who they are, even though that's who I am, I have this other identity that I was fighting, right? And that could be a thing that's going on. Are you fighting another identity inside yourself? So with myself, I had, okay, am I this business person? It was like, well, sort of. But then I went and extracted all the evidence to suggest, well, man, you've gone on this huge journey helping a partner, and now you're actually, you've changed who you are. You've become a better business person. You've done all these dealings with things like leases. You've done all these dealings with employees. You've done all these things dealing with accountants. You've done all these things dealing with payroll. You've done all these things dealing with the ebb and flow of that business. You are in it up to your eyeballs. You are in business. You are in a restaurant. So I had to shift my concept of myself, and I was fighting it for many, many months, even like a year or so. I was fighting my own self-concept. But I'm a mindset coach, and I happen to own a restaurant, but I am also a restaurateur. I'm both, right? And so this is the interesting thing. My core is being a coach, and I own a restaurant. And so it's a very interesting shift in my self-concept, because this is not something I would have allowed in the past. Were there thoughts of lack of self-worth from the past? Possibly. Where did they come from? I actually had a pretty good life, but there were moments in life where those things came up. So I have to go in the past, do some reframing on the old stuff that might have popped up. So that's the question for you. Where are you holding yourself back because you don't believe, or because there's a conflicting identity going on? Is there some part of you holding it back because you think you will lose something else? Or what if you could gain everything you want and have everything at the same time? What if this is on the way, not in the way? I did a short on that one before. If it's on the way, this is part of the journey, and actually is contributing, not taking away from those higher values. One of the things I love in coaching is delving myself into business. And that's exactly what the restaurant has allowed me to do as well. It's improved my knowledge of the world. It's improved my knowledge of the business world, for sure. It's improved my ability to manage finances. It's improved my ability to manage myself. Taking more stock of time, appreciating time. And all these things are coming across and helping me in my coaching business, right? So it's like, okay, well, if that's helping you over there and helping me to do content for YouTube, which I love doing, it's just like it's my fun time is doing coaching stuff for YouTube. So here's the question for you guys. Do you have a conflicting identity that's holding you back because you think you're going to lose something, when actually maybe you're going to gain something that will help you in all areas of your life? You'll be a better version of you. You'll be a more fulfilled version of you. You'll actually have your values met. Your beliefs will actually start to align with this new vision, with this new identity. There'll be part of you, and there's a technique in coaching called parts integration, where if you hold yourself back, there's a part of you that thinks that we have to keep things separate. Is there a part of you that thinks you have to keep things nicely separated to keep peace, to keep peace of mind? That's a good question. It could be an identity, but it could be a value conflict inside of yourself, inside of a series of identities, because we've got multiple what we call identity states inside of us. Is there some part of you that's holding you back, thinking you're going to lose something, but what if you actually gain something and it supported all parts of you? You would start to become in alignment. So that's what was going on with me. I think I was holding back with helping in the restaurant business because I was thinking, it's going to conflict with my coaching. But actually, the restaurant business is going to help me dramatically with my coaching because of the experiences I'm having. And then using the coaching in the restaurant business to then allow me to step forward, to allow me to overcome the dramas of the business, to make quicker decisions, to allow myself to tap into my values, to understand my values around things like money. I mean, I've done all these kinds of coaching techniques for myself in that business, which is also indirectly in this business. So it's really good if you understand yourself. So getting back to you guys, the question for you is, where is there a values conflict inside of you? Or where is there an identity holding you back, thinking you're going to lose something, when actually it's going to give you your dream on a platter in the other area of life? So we started out this about imposter syndrome, and we actually ended up in an area of identity, which is my favorite topic. And the reason why identity is my favorite topic is because I know when you shift your identity, everything else shifts with it. Your actions, your skills, your behaviors, your capabilities, the things you're learning, your beliefs, your values, your identity. And then that leads to the bigger purpose. The bigger purpose that's bigger than you. When you find that, everything just takes off. So that's the question, is what's that identity that's holding you back? If you can get that part that is ignoring about how good you are, that's saying I'm not worthy, you get that part to come together with that part of you that has all these resources, has all these experiences, has all this evidence. When you bring the evidence and show it to that part of you that says you're not worthy, it starts to break it down. A nice simple starting point anyway. So I hope this conversation has helped you a little bit today. Here is the imposter syndrome. I don't like the word syndrome. It's you going into a new situation and holding yourself back. But if you've got the runs on the board, it's a fascinating conversation. Why is your brain ignoring that? Bring those runs on the board and show the good evidence to that part of you that is saying you're not worthy, and see what it has to say. I'll have to do a few processes on that where I take someone through on a video, because it's very helpful to see someone who they have to question themselves, and they're questioning the parts of themselves. Anyway, that's enough for me for today. I would love to hear what your comments are about where you're holding back, where you feel like you're an imposter, especially if you have evidence where you know you actually have the runs on the board. That's the fascinating psychology for me. And where have you actually reframed things? Where have you said to yourself, well, this is on the way, not in the way, and you realize it's just a lesson? I'd love to hear your comments. Comment below, and I'd love to see how you have overcome your own imposter syndrome. I'll do some more how-tos after this video. I just wanted to have a talk here at Surfers Paradise Beach to share with you about imposter syndrome and how we can get the feeling and the evidence to join together and start to get real. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Matt Tait, Walk in the Road.